Hello, my name is Jiayi Wang. I am an undergraduate student at Nankai University in China. The paper I will be presenting today is titled Factors Predicting Implicit Attitudes Toward Obesity, Evidence from Project Implicit. Nowadays, along with the development of people's material living standards, the obesity rate is increasing globally. However, due to all the negative effects of obesity on health and in mainstream aesthetics, obesity is not considered beautiful in most cases. Then there is discrimination against obese people. Obviously, such discrimination will cause psychological trauma to obese people and even lead to inconvenience in life. In the psychological research on attitude, the due process theory holds that people's attitudes can be divided into explicit or implicit attitudes. Among them, explicit attitudes can be controlled by human beings, and implicit attitudes are automatic and cannot be added consciously. Typically, researchers measure implicit attitudes using questionnaires, such as the Anti-Fight Attitudes Test, and implicit attitudes using the Implicit Association Test, IAT. In previous studies, researchers have found significant negative attitudes toward obese people, and then they examined the influencing factors such as age, gender, and so on. Since the results of past studies may have changed over time, and there is a lack of systematic research on implicit attitudes, based on previous studies, this study proposed the following hypothesis. Compared to male, female would have more negative implicit attitudes. The negative implicit attitude toward obesity would have decreased along with the increase in body mass index, increasing age, and increasing levels of education. The negative implicit attitude towards obesity would have decreased from the year 2017 to 2021. Our data were retrieved from the Project Implicit demonstration website from Open Data archived at OSF. In this data, respondents voluntarily visited the website to complete the weight IAT and the related demographic information. In 1998, Greenwald and other researchers proposed the implicit association test, which consists of measuring the differential association between two target concepts and an attribute. The principle is individuals will respond faster when concept words with high correlations share a response key with attribute words with low correlations. The test can be effectively measure people's implicit attitudes. In this research, the target concept was fat and thin, consisting of shade silhouette images of obese or thin individuals of different genders. Attributes are good or bad, consisting of good or bad words. The experiment asked people to distinguish concepts from attributes by pressing keys, such as pressing E when faced with a bad word or thin people. Individuals' attitudes were eventually measured using D-scores. D-scores is the difference between the mean response times of the incompatible and compatible blocks. Our results found this score significantly greater than 0, which implies that people have negative implicit attitudes towards the obese group. Besides, we performed linear regression analysis to further explore the factors influencing implicit attitudes. The regression model shows that all 5 factors significantly predicted implicit weight biases, and their contribution were ranked from highest to lowest. BMI, age, gender, education level, and the year of completing the implicit association test. We found that as individuals' BMI rose, people will have less negative implicit attitudes toward obesity, while with increasing age, negative implicit attitudes increased. Third, females showed stronger negative implicit attitudes toward obesity than males. In addition, people with higher education levels embodied less negative attitudes. And finally, as time changed, people's negative implicit attitudes toward obesity become weaker. The reasons for these results are: first, social identity theory suggests that individuals prefer in-groups and discriminate against out-groups in assessment, so obese people have less negative attitudes towards their own in-groups. Second, obesity-related disease may explain the negative attitudes toward obesity in older groups. Researchers have found that the prevalence of metabolic syndrome increased along with increasing age. Third, social standards for female body image may have led to stronger negative implicit attitudes among female. And a review of the most popular American fashion magazine cover models in the past revealed that these models have increasingly bodies. In addition, people with higher education usually have higher openness, which makes them more inclusive of a obese group and thus have less negative implicit attitudes. Finally, in recent years, there has been an increasing concern about obesity discrimination. And internationally, multidisciplinary experts have issued a joint consensus statement recommending the elimination of discrimination. Such social trend that will lead to a reduction in the stigma associated with obesity and thus a reduction in negative attitudes. However, there are some limitations in this study. First, with a web-based dataset, there might be instances where individuals do not take the test seriously or do not complete the responses. Second, because this data was voluntarily completed, individuals might have a psychological related background, which may result in sample bias. And third, the language of the test is English, which might have an impact on the results of non-native English speakers. Future studies can combine implicit association tests with surveys and interviews to collect people's attitudes toward obesity more comprehensively and ensure accuracy, or conduct cross-cultural studies using appropriate sampling methods to further investigate these influencing factors. In conclusion, the study identified numerous factors that influence people's implicit attitudes toward obesity. Theoretically, the present study informs the due process theory by highlighting several key factors affecting implicit social attitudes. Practically, this study can provide relevant and effective suggestions for interventions. For example, popularizing knowledge about obesity, reducing stigma, and then reducing discrimination. That's all. Thanks for watching.